A very good morning to you, 99.3 Nigeria Info. Welcome to the Morning Crossfire, the last lap on the show. The show is now live on Facebook and YouTube, Nigeria Info 99.3. My name is Wemimo Adewuni. We started off a conversation yesterday as I asked you if you employ professionals in your buildings in Lagos State. We took a cue from the recent unfortunate incident where a building collapsed here in Ikoyi in Lagos. And while Nigerians, Lagosians, point fingers at multinationals, big companies, estate agencies, for neglecting certain safety standards, I asked you, and I'm still asking you, as an individual, do you follow these safety standards? Do you make use of professionals in your buildings? We had a full house yesterday. We had an architect here. We had a quantity surveyor. We had a structural engineer. And the people's favorites, your bricklayers, your regular bricklayers. We had one of them here, Baba Beji. And most of you, looking at the comments we had yesterday, you strongly believe in the bricklayer to do all the work for you, to be the quantity surveyor, to be the possibly architect. You don't even need a drawing, to be the structural engineer, to be the contractor, to do everything. All right, we're continuing that conversation today. You were unable to call me yesterday, so you were able to call me in today. Remember to join the show on Facebook. So today I'm bringing to you a surveyor. She's joining us via the phone. She's Kemi Odunewu. She's the surveyor here in Lagos State. And because we had a conversation leading to planning yesterday, in fact, we invited a town planner, as I had told you earlier. Unfortunately, he lost someone close to him late last night. Of course, he couldn't be here. But I have my guest with me on the line. Miss Odunewu, good morning.
Good morning, Wemimo.
Yes, good to have you here.
Great to be on your show
Thank
this
you.
morning.
It's nice to have you. Now,
Thank you
I'm
for the
certain
invite.
you listened to the show yesterday. Quite an explosive
Yes.
one. In fact, I don't know if I was shocked. I can't even describe the expression that Nigerians believe solely in bricklayers to do everything for them. They have this strong trust. In fact, I have a thinking that sometimes the bricklayer even does the job of the surveyor. I mean, he gets the surveyor. So you are a surveyor. And from yesterday, we learned that a surveyor is different from a quantity surveyor.
Yes.
So tell me what a surveyor does.
Thank you, Wemimo. A surveyor is a professional that collects data on spatial information. Now, when I say spatial information, I mean information that has to do with the location of a place. You collect spatial now that information is used to determine the size, the shape, the relief, and other physical features you have in that point of interest. So we are very much different from a quantity surveyor. We are different from estate surveyors. We are just surveyors. Surveyors without a prefix. Let me just put it that way.
So your job is to tell us, there's a certain land at Ikpaja at number so. This land belonging to this person is this size. That's practically all you do.
That is the most common one, and that's what we call the boundary survey or the cadastral survey. That is the survey where I just tell you, okay, this plan said to belong to Mr. or Mrs. So, or a so entity. And then the surveyor depicts the shape of the land on the survey plan. That is the most common one that we all know.
Okay.
Now, beyond that, there are other branches of surveying, like we were mentioning yesterday in the construction industry.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot that surveyors do within the construction industry, within outside construction. We also work in engineering, oil and gas, different fields like that. Any field where you have to reference information regarding the location of a place, a surveyor is there.
Oh,
a
okay.
surveyor is there.
So I can say for free that I never knew that. So I mean, what I thought surveyors
That's
do.
why we are here.
So I need you to expand this. I mean, I know you've briefly touched on these other things, but can you explain it? I mean, to the layman and to someone like me who didn't even know. So what specifically are these other things you do? And yes, and who in whose employ are you? Do individuals employ you to do these, or is this for corporate bodies?
Okay, thank you. Let me start about who employs us. Surveyors are both in the public and private sectors. Surveyors are present in Office of the Surveyor General, Minister of Physical Planning, Land Bureau, and every other department, Agriculture, Minister of Agriculture, and the rest like that. Surveyors are present in those MDAs, even drainage services, drainage planning, and other departments of government. And then we have surveyors in the private practice. And we are even the larger number. Now, surveyors in private practice are employed by both individuals and corporate bodies. For example, I am in the private practice. My clients vary between individuals, landowning families, corporate bodies. Now, to talk about what surveyors do outside the popular one, that's the cadastral survey that everybody is familiar with. Let's just talk about construction first.
Yeah.
That's where we are taking off from.
Yeah.
I can classify surveyors into the 3 stages of construction phase. And I can tell you for free that a surveyor is there from the very beginning to the end of the construction phase. Now, I'll talk about the pre-construction phase. Before a block is even, before a cement is even sunk into the ground, you have a surveyor that has to do the perimeter survey. The surveyor has to tell you, this land, this is the shape, this is the size, this is the area of the land where you intend to even site your project. Because it is based on this perimeter survey that the architect is going to do his own drawings.
Yeah.
You cannot, whatever idea you have conceived in your head has to be transformed to the ground.
Yeah.
So you need to know that ground, the extent, the shape. You need to know what you are working with. That is the perimeter survey. And then we also have the topographical survey. The topographical survey, or topo like we always call it in our parlance, is the survey of the relief. You have high points, low points. You have different relief for different places. Now, this survey is important because you need to plan drainage. How do you want to drain out water from this property or from this estate or from this project you are citing here? You need to drain water away. So that's where the topography comes in. These are the things that the surveyor will even do before anybody else comes on site. There could also be layouts or subdivision surveys. You might have an estate where there will be several plots. The surveyor will do a subdivision of the parcels into whatever it is that the developer is interested in having. So those are the things that you even have in the pre-construction stage. Now, in the actual construction, after the drawings have been prepared by the architect, the structural engineers have put in place its columns, its beams, based on what you want to have here. This is what you need. So the surveyor has to be on site for what we call setting out, because all those drawings that they have prepared are on paper or on the computer, as the case may be. So now you don't need those drawings to be at those exact locations on ground. You see the connection now. You are coming from a bare land. Now you have drawings. Now you want to put back the drawings on the ground. Now you need a surveyor to do what is called setting out with the use of various survey equipment. You need to set out your columns, your beams, your roads, your bridges, your highways, your pipeline routes, depending on what the project is. I'm talking in general terms now, because the project could be a simple 3-story building to an estate, or even as much as planning pipeline routes, to planning transmission lines. It could be as big as that. So you now need a surveyor to do the setting out. That is to identify the point at which that beam is going to sit. I
thought that was the job of the structural engineer to identify.
They would have done their own drawings. The structural engineer would have done his drawings, would have done all his calculations. But don't forget that point of that beam has to sit somewhere on the ground physically. the surveyor will set out those points. If you've been on a construction site, you will see some people, maybe they tie a rope in the regular ones, maybe for small projects. You will see that some people tie a rope, especially maybe if they're trying to set out a fence line. You will see that they can tie a rope to show that this is the direction you must lay this block. You know, you understand what I'm trying to say. So those positions on paper have to be somewhere on ground, and they have to be identified and marked as accurate as possible so that the construction process does not get distorted.
Looks to me like there are so many people involved in construction.
In the construction industry, there are about 7 professionals working hand in hand. Not less than 7. Not less than 7.
But apparently, with what we heard, I mean, I'm going to open the phone lines shortly, but with the feedback we've gotten, I'm not certain, or you can tell me, do Nigerians employ you to do all of these in their personal buildings?
I can tell you, yes. We need Nigerians to engage us more. But the truth is, in this part of the world, because of maybe financial considerations, and then sometimes the laxity of the regulatory bodies, we tend to sidestep a lot of processes.
Yeah.
But if we are going to get maximum benefits for all our projects, there is no way you don't need all the professionals in the built industry.
Let me ask you one more question before I get to the phone line. So yesterday, I like to call him the people's favorite, the bricklayer, whom everybody, I mean, just believes totally in. Tell me, do you know if bricklayers take over your role? So I see that they step into the work of the architect, the builder, the structural engineer. Do they step into your role as surveyors also? Or is this something that only you can do?
I think for a bricklayer per se, it will be difficult to step into the role of a surveyor. Mind you, some of them have experiences because they've seen surveyors do this on site.
Yeah.
And maybe for the small project, maybe, but it will be difficult for you because the instruments you need to even do a survey job are instruments that cost millions of naira. So to even invest in that kind of instrument as a bricklayer, I don't know how the person is going to do it. So it's possible, of course, we have quackery, infiltrating every profession, not just the built industry now. We have people with little experiences here and there that can do little things, but that does not mean they are the professionals. But because a bricklayer is able to get away with maybe one floor in Ayobo or one floor in Iju, does not mean you can get away with it in Lekki. Don't forget, their soil conditions are different. The layers of the soil in Ayobo is different. So that is where a geotechnical engineer will tell you the differences, in the soil layers, how you can help the soil here to carry this load. Those are things that I don't think a bricklayer can do.
Now, also before my phone lines are on fire. We now clearly know what your roles are. Now, in the instance, this is one of the questions I asked my guest yesterday. In the instance when there is a building collapse, I'm going to throw this to you also, because your job is like, I didn't know that you had any role to play beyond just drawing the land boundaries. You give them the planning, you get the seal, right? You give this plan, you get approval, right?
You seal your own job as a surveyor.
Yes.
There is a seal of approval that even in physical planning, if they don't see that seal on a survey plan, it won't be accepted.
Now, if in the case where there is a building collapse, do you think that the surveyor could also be liable?
Now, I like that part of your question yesterday, because that will make me to talk about post-construction work that a surveyor, that you can also engage a surveyor in. One of them is as-built survey. When you have finished your construction, how does this match what you have on ground? How does it match the initial expectation that you had on paper? You can go as well to do an as-built survey. And then there's also something that we call subsidence monitoring of high-rise structures and bridges. Now, when you say subsidence monitoring, there is an assumption that every structure that you have over time will undergo some form of deformity, time usage. So what a surveyor can do is to help you monitor a structure that is even underused and let you know that, okay, this structure has tilted something as little as some few centimeters tilt. let me just break it down like this. I don't want to sound too technical.
Yes,
you know,
please.
this same methodology is employed in meteorological services. You study the weather over a period of time, and then you can predict what will happen in the next 3 months, in the next 2 years, because you have the data, because you have been studying it.
Yes.
So it's also something a surveyor can do for high-rise structures. You can monitor it. Then you cannot give postulations. Of course, you need high precision equipment to do this. So these are the areas that anybody cannot just stroll in these areas. So by then, you can do some careful analysis and detect that, okay, this may be under distress, going by so measurements that you have taken over period. So that is where a surveyor comes in, monitoring. Though a surveyor may not be able to prevent building collapse.
But the surveyor can advise.
Can advise, and can, if the surveyor has been monitoring the building, that's the clause now, or the structure.
But for you to continue to monitor the building over years, that's money now. And you know, Nigerians, I mean, they're trying to cut costs. That means you have to be on my payroll for years.
No, when you say monitoring, it's not like you sit there every day and you are doing this thing. It could be periodical, you know, maybe once in 3 months, once in 6 months. And like I said earlier, we try to sidestep a lot of things. And that is why we'll keep having some of these issues. The developed clients I would like to talk about, they don't take all these things with levity. They don't take it with levity. Some city municipals, some counties, they are constantly being surveyed. Why do they do that? Because they want to know if there are changes, and they want to be on top of their game.
But do you think that we are in Lagos? I'm going to stay with Lagos because we are in Lagos. Do you think that the Ministry of Town Planning, for instance, is on top of their game in ensuring? I mean, I would believe that we have surveyors in the Ministry of Town Planning, that we have the QS, that we have structural engineers, that we have monitoring bodies and units. Do you think we're on top of our game in Lagos State?
I think it will be a bit difficult for me to answer because I'm not in the ministry. But I'll just talk about our engagement with the ministry.
Yeah.
At least in the last 2 years that I've been opportune to engage more with government officials, I see that there's a little bit more that they are doing. And now there is a tendency that they even call us to engage us. Before now, we have to make noise. This thing, we can do this thing. We have the manpower, we have the capacity. Let's do this thing.
Let me ask you to hold your thought because I need to go out on a break. I'll be right back, Lagos, to take your calls. This is the Morning Crossfire. My name is Wemimo Adewuni, and I'll be right back.
Thank you.
An American company in Lekki, Lagos is recruiting qualified sales representatives that own a car and a valid driver's license. Are you ambitious, hardworking? Do you have a great attitude? Are you ready to take your career to the next level? Here's an opportunity for you. Please call 0815-705-0505 or 0905-637-4258 to book for an interview.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
Special season. Hey, some kind people for we country now, they face waiting they call sweet palava. Like a fusa, when they wonder whether if you park a new car for the left side or right side of a compound. Get no problem, go. Now whether to start in brand new generator with key or with remote. If it's free, we don't they open and close a new fridge every 5 minutes. My people, waiting they cost some, Now the Glow Joy Unlimited Extravaganza. If you self want experience your own sweet palava, just dial *611# and recharge up to 500 naira every week to enter this Glow Joy Unlimited Extravaganza. Over 500,000 gifts will include plenty brand new cars, generators, TVs, fridges, and plenty other sweet prices. Full grand remain. Start to recharge now, make you fit win. Terms and conditions they shall.
Glow Joy Unlimited.
Your phone Dem no dey tanda one place dey wait for life o. You go sharparly waka go meet am. No be how many chance wey you get na im matter o. Na wetin you take am do na im be the koko. As day dey break dey go, cup after cup, with better smell wey dey tinkolo body. And omyomyo taste of Nescafe 3-in-1. Your day don start gidigba be dat o. E con still finish gidigba. Nescafe don land now for sachet for shinkily 70 naira. With Nescafe, everything don start be dat o.
Before now, getting a good HMO that works perfectly for my staff was a lot of hassle. Many HMOs come with cumbersome registration. It gets worse when my staff come back to complain about the terrible service they get from these HMOs. I decided to give Reliance HMO a try based on glowing recommendations I received from my HR colleagues, and I was not disappointed. I was able to register all 100 staff in 5 minutes. I have access to a 24-hour responsive helpline and an account manager that helps me with any issue. My staff raves about the premium service they receive from Reliance HMO. They especially love the access to gym, spa, dental care, and the hospital roaming. I no longer worry myself about issues concerning HMO. Reliance HMO does that for me. I will recommend them any day.
Visit reliancehmo.com/corporate or call 0700-7354-2623 to get a quote for your company and start enjoying reliable healthcare today. Reliance HMO. You can rely on us.
Wow, I love the new Galaxy Flip. I've been thinking of getting it since it came out.
I want to buy the Galaxy A22, but I'm not sure if I've saved up enough.
The biggest sale of the year is happening in all Samsung retail stores nationwide.
Really?
Now is the time to enjoy amazing discounts and win loads of gifts on every phone you buy.
Yes!
You get a whopping discount when you buy the Galaxy A22, A12, A02, and Tab S7 devices. You get gifts worth up to 250,000 naira when you buy the Galaxy Z Fold 3, Z Flip 3, or any of the S21 devices. It doesn't get better than the Black Friday deals at Samsung. Wait, where are you going?
To the nearest Samsung store, of course.
Promo runs from Friday, 12th November to the 30th of November, 2021. T's and C's apply.
The federal government, through NPHCDA, commenced Phase 2 vaccination of all persons 18 years and above with safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines approved by WHO and certified by NAFDAC. Special arrangement has been made for staff, their dependents and retirees of ministries, departments and agencies of government, private corporate organizations and non-governmental organizations. To benefit from this special arrangement, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng/corporate vaccination/ to obtain, fill and submit the Google form. NPHCDA will contact you within 48 hours. Protect yourself, your family and your workplace against COVID-19. COVID-19 vaccines are free, safe and effective. For further inquiries, call 0700-220-1122 or send a mail to covid19.vaccination@nphcda.gov.ng. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
Before now, getting a good HMO that works perfectly for my staff was a lot of hassle. Many HMOs come with cumbersome registration. It gets worse when my staff come back to complain about the terrible service they get from these HMOs. I decided to give Reliance HMO a try based on glowing recommendations I received from my HR colleagues, and I was not disappointed. I was able to register all 100 staff in 5 minutes. I have access to a 24-hour responsive helpline and an account manager that helps me with any issue. My staff raves about the premium service they receive from Reliance HMO. They especially love the access to gym, spa, dental care, and the hospital roaming. I no longer worry myself about issues concerning HMO. Reliance HMO does that for me. I will recommend them any day.
Visit reliancehmo.com/corporate or call 0700-7354-2623 to get a quote for your company and start enjoying reliable healthcare today. Reliance HMO. You can rely on us.
It's hot! It's nationwide, online and offline. The biggest sales of the year 2021. It's Konga Yakata from 11th November to 12th December. Don't miss it. Konga, the e-commerce group you trust.
Honey, why are we stopping at the Dulux shop? It's just a small stain on the wall at home.
Babe, you think you're the only one who loves shopping vouchers?
Wait, Dulux is giving out shopping vouchers?
Yes. From now to November 30th, 2021, buy Deluxe Paint and win shopping vouchers worth up to 60,000 naira instantly. No raffle draws or lucky deeps. Just buy and win. But remember, terms and conditions apply.
Dulux, let's color.
Download the Flash Gas app, available on Google Play and App Store.
Available only on the island.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
You're welcome back. This is 99.3 Nigeria Info. My name is Wemimo Adewuni. This is a Morning Crossfire. And it's good to be back with you. We're having a conversation on construction. And I'm sure that you've learned a lot since yesterday and today. I have my guest with me on the phone. She's Misconceptions Odunewu, and she's a surveyor. And she has told us what surveyors do. We were talking about the relation between your job and town planning and the Ministry of Planning. So before I head to the phones, because I really need to, I owe these people this call opportunity. I mean, your job, the scope, you map out the scope of houses. One of the questions I've thought of over time is so many areas in Lagos are not well planned. I mean, people buy land. Land is available. You just buy it and you build it. I mean, there isn't a laid out planning. Yeah. There isn't a continuous, say, you look at the street and it goes straight down and there are houses on the left and on the right. In most areas, especially in hinterlands, you know, the Abule Egba, the Paja, the Songotedo, those new areas where people just buy land. So in your relation with the Ministry of Town Planning, what do you see? Is there anything they're doing in this regard? Is there anything your association is also doing in this regard to help us?
Yes, Wemimo, it's unfortunate that the speed at which development is happening in Lagos is very fast, way faster than what the town planning authorities can keep up with. I believe there is a master plan in Lagos. That is my belief. But I think somehow, because of this speed of development, before even the town planning gets to, like, let's say level A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H of their master plan. Let's say they are in level H. People are already in level Y. And development is already going on in such places. And unfortunately, it's always a bit uncoordinated. You can see that some streets, some roads are not well mapped out. You can see somewhere where there's not supposed to be a fence. Somebody can just build a fence and just close up the road. I think since you have asked this question, it's a good thing that I'm sure authorities in town planning are listening. It's something, maybe they need more manpower, they need a lot of enforcement, because really, when you look at enforcement, it happens majorly within the mainland areas. Let me not say, I don't want to sound somehow, but the interland, you see that enforcement is a bit lax. And I think that is the reason for it. There's nothing else that causes it. When there is enforcement, when people know that something is going to happen when you do the wrong thing, definitely everybody will sit up. So I think it goes back to enforcement. There's a good master plan, I believe. So it's just about making people to now conform with the master plan. And the ministry has their work well cut out for them in that regard.
I believe so. Now let's head to the phone lines. 0700 993 993 993. If you're female, we have a line for you to get through, and that's 014657190. You can also join us on Facebook and YouTube. I see your comments there. I'll be reading them shortly. But let's start off with the phone lines. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Can you speak up for me? What's your name?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to your speaker. My name is Sam.
Okay, Sam.
Yeah, regarding this building everything, it's as if they need to keep bringing it, especially the rural area. You understand? Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
A lot of Nigerians will love to cut corners. If you can't afford to build a house, don't build a house. You rent or you seek for lease. You understand? But it took my uncle. He had money. It took my uncle more than almost 2 years to build his house. He consulted. That was when I knew that a lot of people had needed to build a house. You understand? And when I visited my uncle's house, if you saw the wall alone, oh my God, I don't think they can put a bullet to it and it will penetrate.
Wow.
You understand? A lot of people are involved. We know we have bricklayers, you understand, and they have their job. But you can't just make somebody do all the job. It's not done like that.
Yeah.
A home of 5 million naira, 4 million naira can be done well if you saw the right professional and you get the minimum tools you get. You don't need to have everything. It depends on, but at least let the house be strong.
Yeah.
And shame on all those who keep saying that place was brought down. And it's even better it went down now. What if there was workload there? That is to say, people have started living there. We'll be counting hundreds of deaths. And shame to Lagos State government. For the past 7 years, nobody has been brought to justice. It's really painful. We Nigerians, we are very selfish. It's until it affects us. What happened in Lekki, in Ikoyi, Wemimo special, is a national disaster.
It is.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
It is. Thank you very much, Sam. I'm sorry, but let's speak with other people, okay? Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning. Are you there? I can hear you. Good morning.
Hello?
Okay, I best that you cannot hear me, so I'll let you go and pick another one. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me? What's going on? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I can hear you.
Wemimo.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, good morning.
I can hear you.
Oh, good morning, Wemimo.
Yes.
My name is Inka. I'm calling from Aja.
All right, please go ahead.
First, I would like to commend you for this woman that you invited to the show. She's very smart, intelligent, and articulate. In fact, she made me feel like I should become a surveyor.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's something I want you to know. In this part of the world, our people like cutting corner, and that's where the problem lies. This structure that came down as, if those who are speculating that maybe somebody brought it down with bomb, if they've been to that place, they will know that some people somewhere didn't do their job. The plots of land upon which the story buildings are constructed,
yeah,
for them to build this high-rise,
your line keeps fading off. Your line keeps fading off. I'm sure what he meant to say was that there would have been need, and there is need to do, soil tests to even know
technical work.
Yes, to even know what kind of structure can stay on what kind of land. It's not you can't build anything anywhere. You can't. Hello, good morning. All right, please try again. Let me go on to Facebook and take some thoughts here. Then I'll head from there to WhatsApp. Good morning, everybody. Sonny Chalks, Rashid Babatunde, thank you. Victor Daniel, thank you. Prince Anderson, Liverpool says, this is the first time you're seeing my face. Oh, wow, welcome. Victor Daniel, Wemimo, this is Dan Dollar from Lekki. Please, why is it that it is when the disaster happens that we start talking about things like this? Well, we talk about it all the time, but when things like this happen, it gives us another opportunity to talk about it some more. So let's take the opportunity. Yimini Godwin, thank you. Felix Uzor says, this lady seems she knows a lot about construction. I really would like to get her contact. Okay. I'll let you know how you can reach her. Remyola Woyi, I think what she's trying to explain is that the surveyors interpret what the structural engineer has designed. Is that what you were trying to explain? Miss Kemi, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, I can hear you. Wemimo.
Let me add on to that. So he's saying that the surveyor interprets what the structural engineer has designed. Suleiman Abdulatif also says that surveyors cannot interpret what the structural engineer designed. A surveyor doesn't know anything about structural design. Their work is to survey and take levels. Structural work is most complex and most important in building. It is only a site engineer, whom is also a structural engineer, or a builder that has a lot of experience about structural work, that has learned from the structural engineer, that can interpret the structural design. How true is this?
I think that's a bit of misinformation because according to what the person typed, a builder that has worked with a structural engineer can interpret structural. I think that's there's a bit of misinformation in that. Now let me just say what the surveyor does. What the surveyor does, like I explained earlier, your drawing, your structural designs and everything is on paper or is on your computer, and then you need to now transfer it to the physical space on the ground. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, to locate those positions, which is called setting out, that is the job of a surveyor.
Not the job of a structural engineer.
No. Anything that has to do with location of points, anywhere on the earth surface, is the job of a surveyor.
Okay.
Take that to the bank, please.
Well, she says take it to the bank. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, welcome. What's your name?
Good morning.
Good morning. I can hear you. What's your name?
Yeah, Wemimo, good morning. My name is Architect Robert.
Oh, Architect, welcome.
Yeah, good morning. I listened to this show yesterday. I tried calling, but I couldn't get in.
Yeah, okay.
I want to say thank you for bringing this woman to the show. She's quite knowledgeable about the built environment. But I want to correct an impression here.
Okay.
That the fact that Baba Beji can do a one-story building and whatever does not mean he can do the job of the architect or the job of the structural engineer.
Definitely.
Because I remember when I was in school studying architecture, if you do a design and you paste for jury, that's for defense, my HOD will come, the person of Professor Mike Adebamo of University of Lagos. He will come and say, you have designed this, but where is the architecture in this? So architecture is beyond just lines and forms. Architecture is creativity, it's artistry. You understand? So the architect does not just create your spaces, he plans your movement within your space. He plans, the arrangement of your item within your space.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things that are involved in built environment. That's why you have these bodies of professionals when it comes to the building industry, when it comes to construction site.
I hear you.
Like what this woman is trying to say is, he does not, the surveyor does not interpret the engineering drawings. He tells the engineer this is where this thing
should
start from, and it should, that they show you the coordinates. But the structural engineer interprets the structural drawings. You understand? The reinforcement, the staircase details, and all of that. So there are two different things. I don't know why people are mixing it up.
Yeah, that's why we're here. That's why we're
Hello?
here, to explain everything. That's exactly why we're having this conversation. Because apparently, someone was telling me early yesterday morning that an architect builds a bikini. So, there's a lot of misinformation. Because why? The reason is simple. People use the Baba Beliki, the Baba Beji, who does everything, who does everything. He's the contractor. In fact, most times he's the one who gets in the electrical engineer. He does everything for you. So, hello?
Hello?
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Well, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. What's your name?
Yes, my name is Sani.
Welcome, Sani.
I think your guest is mixing everything.
Okay.
You have asked her a very simple question. What is her role in building collapse? We have not gotten that answer.
Okay.
The surveyor marks out the survey land, the boundaries, and that ends it. For goodness sake, let her give us this answer. What is her role in building collapse?
Okay. She's right here, so she's going to answer.
Secondly,
okay. Yes.
She is surveyor of what? You can only be a land surveyor. You cannot be a photographer. Cartographer or photographer. She's surveyor of what? Let's understand. Because she's mixing everything. What is her role in building collapse?
Are you a surveyor? Sunny?
I'm a quantity surveyor.
Okay, you're a quantity surveyor. All right, keep
Yes,
listening.
yes.
All right, she's still right here. Mr. Odunewu. Yes, so number one, what's the role or how liable is a surveyor? Since the surveyor, as you said, is involved in pre-building, during building, and post-construction. So how liable is a surveyor if there is a building collapse?
Okay, now, how liable when there's a building collapse? Like I told you earlier, if you listen to, if the caller had listened when I was talking about post-construction survey, I have said that a surveyor cannot prevent a building collapse. I thought I mentioned that earlier. That what the surveyor can do is, if the surveyor has been monitoring the structure. I thought I explained that clearly.
If the surveyor had been monitoring the structure and then something goes wrong.
Yes, he can tell you that there is some form of deformity or there is some form of subsidence in this place. That is what the surveyor can do.
So in the case that there is a collapse, if the surveyor had given you pre-warning and you refuse to take that warning, then the surveyor is not liable. But if that surveyor has been monitoring but did not tell you that something was about to go wrong, the surveyor can be liable. Is that the accurate representation of what you're trying to say?
The accurate representation is that if there is an issue with a particular structure and a warning signal has been sent out, depending on who has employed the surveyor to do the job of monitoring, it is the surveyor's duty to send that, because that is why you have been engaged in any case. So that is the duty of the surveyor to say that this should be subject to maybe further integrity test. Sometimes you may want to cross-reference information that you have from one party with another party. So if the surveyor has done that, the surveyor cannot be held liable.
Okay, let's talk about. He's also saying that topographer and
photographer.
And, I think topographers.
Cartographer.
Oh, cartographer.
Yes, cartographer.
Whatever.
Let me quickly clear that. There was something we mentioned when we talked about having artisans. In all professions, cartographers are people. You even in architecture, you have people that they call draftsman or draftsman. You have people that they call kato. If you are aware, if you are conversant with the street parlance, they call them kato. And then there are even some people, even in survey, they call, those are different levels of artisans in the various professions. Now, let me correct his impression when he said you cannot be a surveyor of everything or something. You are a land surveyor. Now, let me tell you, we are surveyors. Why I will refuse to take the appendage land surveyor is because our work is not only on land. There is hydrography, which is another branch of surveying, which has to do with mapping of the seabed. So that is why we will not accept that appendage. We are just surveyors. So he is a quantity surveyor, and there is nowhere. Of course, we work hand in hand, but our jobs and descriptions are well spelled out.
All right, let me jump off to,
and we deal with location.
Let me jump off to WhatsApp. Oh my goodness. No. This has not refreshed for me to give me. So I'm just going to stay with Facebook. Google makes it very clear. Building surveyors focus more on the property and construction, on the technical side of both the property and the construction sectors. Meanwhile, quantity surveyors deal with the financial side of the construction industry, making sure every project is cost effective. This is Mark in Kehinde. Abib Adeola on Facebook says, it is so unfortunate that lives have been lost already, but for future safety, it's important to revisit the whole process. Speaking as a surveyor, so he or she is a surveyor, there is what we call deformation monitoring, in which the surveyor at site will be monitoring the height of the structure. Possibly, if this provision was put in place at the collapsed building, the incident would have probably been averted. He also says that there is technological advancement. The surveyor doesn't necessarily have to monitor manually. There are now automated sensors, but very possible the developer was cutting costs. Tijani Abdul Jalil Ademola, people like cutting corners, but at the same time, the clients and the developers are not helping matters. They choose to use a bricklayer to boycott the professional bills and impute, and at the end of the day, the result is disaster. Olufosoye Adegbola Joseph, Wemimo, could you Are you serious at all? I should share with you my bottle of water. Okay. It says, I commend your guest for her explicit explanations, but my appeal is that apart from government regulations and enforcement, can it be possible to make the charges and fees affordable based on the basis that every client does not have the same capacity to engage in these services? So on a final note, let me ask you that tough question again. How expensive is it to get a surveyor? You can do this for me in 30 seconds. And what's your charges? What are your charges? What are your charges like? Can an average man afford you?
In the public domain, we have a scale of fees. And for the construction industry, we have another scale of fees for personnel in the construction industry, which is actually set by the federal government. Okay. So we have a scale of fees that is in public knowledge. Even coming down to the cadastral surveyor, we have a scale of fees that is in the public domain.
Good.
So our scale of fees is not hidden; it's in the public domain. There's a minimum,
and it's usually percentage. I think it's percentage based.
No, for the work of a surveyor, it's not based on percentage, except when you are acting as a consultant.
Oh, okay.
But when you are acting as a surveyor on site, there is a federal government scale of fees. For both cadastral, even for Lagos State alone, there is a scale of fees for every part of Lagos State. So
good.
It's not
very good.
It's in the public domain.
Oh, awesome. So you guys go check it out. Just do a random search online. I promise to let my audience know how they can find you. Someone is asking to find you. Are you online? Can they reach you online?
I can be reached on my email.
Okay.
Folakemi@gmail.com.
Please say that again.
Folakemi Odunewu, just my name @gmail.com.
Folakemi Odunewu, ODUNEWU. ODUNEW at gmail.com, right? All right, send her a message. Thank you very much for being on the show this morning. You've given us another insight to this conversation. Thanks for being here, ma'am.
Thank you, Wemimo. I appreciate the time.
Thank you
so much.
All right, Nigeria, that's the show. I have to go. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 a.m. We'll have another line of conversation. Tomorrow is Thursday's Health Day. Let's talk about hydrocephalus. That's children with disability and different forms of disability on the show tomorrow at 8. But the show starts at 5 a.m. So make sure you join me. I'm on social media at Wemimo Sports. Let's keep talking. If you're male, go join the male community Pro Version Man on Facebook. And we have something good coming up in December. You wouldn't want to miss it. See you tomorrow. Don't go away.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Wow, I love the new
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's